Are you new to Stardew Valley and don't know where to start? In this video, I will be showing you tips and tricks on how to get started on your first spring in Stardew Valley. Some of these tips may seem a little extreme to some players, but with hundreds of hours in the game, this is just kind of how I like to start a new save file. So if you think you'll feel a little rushed doing any of these, you can play at your own pace. These are just some tips and tricks I've learned along the way. The first thing you're going to do is make your character and pick your farm type. If this is your first time playing, I would really suggest picking the Standard or the Meadowlands farm. The Meadowlands is the new farm that they came up with in the most recent update. You can definitely start out with that one because you'll have chickens right off the bat, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to start off with the Standard farm. I'm also going to be playing this with no mods, just for the sake of people who might be playing this on the Switch instead of the PC. Something that might seem obvious, but when you are naming your farm, you don't have to put the word farm at the end. It's going to automatically put that for you. When you are picking your favorite thing, you could pick something serious, but when it comes up the one time again, it will just be really funny if you put something a little silly. And then you just customize your character and you pick an animal. You'll start your new farm with some parsnip seeds, and always make sure to check your TV every morning to see what your luck is. This will matter later on when you're going into the mines. If it's a good luck day, you'll be more likely to find better items. There are a few different sayings that mean different amounts of luck. Stardew Wiki is a great tool to learn anything and everything you can about Stardew Valley. Now I'm going to go over the pause screen. This first one is your backpack slots, which aren't very big right now, but don't worry, you're gonna unlock other slots as you progress in the game. This next screen is for your skills. As you fish, mine, forage, etc., you're gonna gain more experience points and level up. The next page is your relationships with the other people in the town. As you introduce yourself to them, you're gonna learn their names and the question marks will go away. All the ones that say single underneath are the people that you can marry, and then these little boxes are for when you can give them 2 gifts per week and talk to them once a day. The next page is your map, so you can kind of see where people roughly are, where they live anyways, and kind of the layout of the town. This next page is where you'll be able to craft things as you gather supplies, and you'll be able to get more recipes as you go to fill in this space. The next page is where you can track your relationships with your animals. You need to pet them every day to gain more friendship points, and they'll be able to reward you with higher quality items. The next page is where you're going to track your special items and powers as you get them. This page is to keep track of all of the items you've found or crafted, and this particular tab is only for the items you're going to ship in the bin up there in that right corner kind of. This next page is just for your general settings, and you really only need to worry about a couple. Make sure to always have show tool hit location turned on, especially if it's your first time playing, because it's very helpful starting out. You can always turn it off once you get used to it. I would turn on the zoom buttons to be able to zoom out a little and see more of what's around you without wasting time having to run around. You can also edit the music volume in the settings. The first thing you're going to want to do is plant those parsnips. I also recommend going into town and just spending all of your money on more seeds for parsnips. You don't have to play like this. Like I said, my main goal when starting a new file is to make as much money as I can before the 13th of spring, because that is when the egg festival is, and that's the only day of the whole year that you can buy strawberries, and that crop sells for just really good money. This is also the calendar where you can see when everyone's birthdays are and any other town events that are happening that season. I would only buy parsnips right now because a crow is going to come and eat a couple of your plants, and you don't want to waste any of that money on those higher crops until you can build that scarecrow to keep the crows away. Another important tip is to plant your new crops close to a water source so you don't have to walk as far when you need to refill your watering can. I would spend any extra energy you have at the end of the day chopping down trees because you're going to need the wood for crafting. When you start to use all of your energy, you're going to see that in the energy bar on the bottom right. You're also going to have a message pop up at the bottom to warn you. If you keep doing things, you'll start to move around really slow, and if you keep doing things after that, you'll eventually pass out, which is probably going to cost you some money or valuable items in your pockets. You can go to sleep at whatever time of the day you want, especially in these early days, because you're not going to have a lot of energy, but don't worry, that's going to increase over time. Make sure to water your plants every day. They won't die if you don't, but they also won't grow. A good way to spend your time when you have little to no energy is to meet the townspeople or forage for spring items. You can also eat these items to regain some of your energy. Just try not to eat them all because you will need a few of them for the community center that's coming up next. This is a community center. It's not going to be open to you right now. Don't worry about that. It'll open up on day 5. Some gifts are liked more than others, while some are hated. That's another good thing to look up on the Stardew wiki page if you want to, or you can just try to figure it out on your own. But more liked gifts are going to earn you more friendship points, and this is where you can see how many gifts you've given them for the week. This is basically a doctor's office where you can buy items to restore your health and energy, but they're usually way overpriced, and I've actually never bought one thing from them. If someone's in your way, you can just keep walking into them and eventually you'll pass through them. You'll be able to pick up new quests right here, and you can usually make a little extra money this way. Some of them are time sensitive though, like this one you had to complete in 2 days. After you accept it, it'll tell you that. The way you're going to keep track of those quests are up there in your journal. This is the Stardrop Saloon. This is the bar where you can buy food and recipes when you need them. A salad's always a good option for energy early on, but they can be pricey, so it's just if you're willing to spend the money on that. You will have other ways to get energy, so it's not that serious. You'll go to the beach on day 2, and Willie's going to give you a fishing pole. Fishing is a really great thing to do when you have low energy because you can eat the fish as you're catching them, so it's a great way to still get fishing experience points when you don't have energy to do something else. The fishing minigame can be challenging at first, but gets a little easier as you progress with pole upgrades, add-ons, experience points that make the little green box bigger. You just need to keep the fish in the green box until the bar on the right fills up. If you get any trash or other items and you need room in your backpack, you can just throw them away in the little trash can. I would repair this bridge as soon as possible so you can get access to those extra forageable items over there to the right, because that kind of stuff is worth pretty good money. This is Marnie's house where you can buy animals once you build your coop and your barn. This is the wizard's house. It's going to be locked to you right now, but it will open in a few days. And this area is like a really great place to forage for items. Going this way beside Marnie's house is going to lead you back to the bottom of your farm. Using your scythe is not going to use any of your energy, so you don't have to worry about passing out because you're having to scythe your way back to your house. Rain is awesome because you won't have to water your crops for that day, so you can spend your energy doing other stuff. You will get the crafting recipes for sprinklers later in the game, so you won't have to worry about that at all, but for right now you do have to worry about that. Start chopping down trees to build chests to free up space in your backpack and store your items. If your backpack is full, you can just drop that item onto the ground, put the chest in there, and then pick it back up later. Make sure to save at least one of those forageable items you're finding around town, because you're going to need those for the community center. There's that crow. You might lose a crop or two to the crow until you get that recipe for the scarecrow. So around this time, you should get the recipe for field snacks. It's one of the best things to eat early on in the game to keep your energy up. You'll get acorns, maple seeds, and pine cones from chopping trees, which are the ingredients you need to make field snacks. So you're going to have them anyways because you're going to be chopping those trees. Picking all of these parsnips should give you a message in the bottom left-hand corner that says you've got some new ideas to sleep on. That means you've leveled up in something and should get new recipes when you wake up the next morning. This applies to fishing, mining, and all the other skills as well. After you sell all of those, spend all your money again. Get a few of the other crops, but mostly parsnips. On day 5, you need to enter town from the bus stop between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. to trigger the cutscene to unlock the community center. If you missed it on the 5th, that's okay. You can do it any day after the 5th, just as long as it's not raining. You'll need to go to the bottom room and look at this box. You're not going to be able to read it, but it triggers the next thing. Coal is one of the most important resources and kind of hard to come by. Never sell it because you'll need it in so many crafting recipes. Because I knew I was going to level up the next day, I haven't planted those parsnips yet. So I've got the fertilizer recipe and the scarecrow recipes. Make sure to place your fertilizer on the same day that you plant your seeds. You're not going to be able to fertilize anything after the plant starts to grow. The next morning, the wizard's going to send you a letter in the mail to come meet him. Something to note is a cutscene with a character does not count as introducing yourselves. Even though I just had the cutscene with the wizard, I still got to talk to him again after. The cutscene is what makes you able to read the box in the community center, so go talk to him as soon as possible. Completing the community center bundles are what most people consider the main part of the game. After completing them, you unlock things like the greenhouse, the mine carts. It just makes playing the game a lot easier and faster. Here's where you can place those forageables that you found earlier. This bundle will have a slot for each season, so if you progress to the next season without doing them, then you will have to wait until the next year to finish this bundle. Same with crops, because each season has different crops. Some bundles have a list of items you can use to fulfill it, but you only have to get some of them. Like this one here, you only need to get 5 of those items to complete it. Completing parts of the bundles will also unlock more bundles. The top 2 that I recommend focusing on are the ones where you get the greenhouse reward and the mine carts open. I always try to finish the greenhouse one before winter in year 1. That way you can put those crops in there to make money during the winter. Completing the animal bundle will probably be the hardest because you need large items from your animals. So get a barn and the coop and animals as soon as you can and pet them every day so you can complete this bundle in order to get that greenhouse in year 1. Like I said, it doesn't have to be that serious. You can play slower if you want to. That's just my advice on getting the greenhouse for that first year. On day 7, you'll be able to enter the mines and you'll be gifted a rusty sword. Early on, the goal is to get to the lowest level of the mines. Every 5 levels, you're going to get a new number unlocked on this elevator, so you don't have to start at level 1 every time. So basically just hit the rocks until you find that ladder and ignore all the other ones. You'll have time to really farm for minerals and rock later on in the game. The easiest way to defeat slimes is to pin them up against the rocks or walls and just click your sword until they die. If they aren't pinned, they're more likely to jump on you and hurt you. Every Sunday, the Queen of Sauce is going to give you a new recipe, so make sure to check that TV channel. This is particularly important if you want to 100% the game because you have to cook all the recipes to do that. Mine carts at the end of the tracks on some levels will be full of coal. Salmon berries only grow on the bushes on days 15 to 18 of spring. If you want easy food for free, spend some time these days foraging for the berries. This will also increase your foraging experience points, and you can look for other items to forage while you're doing it, like these spring onions. Also, while you're out there on the 17th day of spring, you can find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow near the bottom of the map. And a leprechaun hat to wear. You can enter the bus tunnel to the left to find more forageable or hidden items. Make tappers for your trees as soon as possible to start stocking up on the items they're going to give you because they kind of take a long time and you're going to need them. Give people their favorite loved items on their birthday to earn extra friendship points with them. You can also click on their names to see what gifts you've given them in the past to see if they like them or not, if you're trying to play the game without checking the Stardew wiki page. When your strawberries are ready, you can sell them to Pierre. Make sure you keep watering them after because they're going to produce one more time before spring is over. Also, don't accidentally sell all 147 of your salmon berries that you spent 3 in-game days foraging for. You can use your money to upgrade your tools, buy a coop and a barn, and buy animals to get started on that animal bundle. Make sure you've cleared out your spots where you want to put your buildings before you go see Robin, because she's not going to be able to place anything where there are trees or rocks. And then spend the rest of your days of spring trying to make as much money as possible to be ready to buy your summer crops. Also, make sure you have everything that you need for your bundles for spring, because if you don't finish them this spring, you'll have to wait until next year to do that. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing another video on summer and fall and winter. Thanks for watching.